Almost forgot to mention, when I bought the teapot, it told me in the instructions something that I didn't know, so I'll share it with you. Apparently, you are supposed to start with cold water, just like you do with the eggs, and only put it on medium. So if you've been putting hot water in your tea kettle and putting it on high, apparently that will damage your teapot. So I just realized that I did an egg peeling video, but I didn't tell you how I make my eggs. This is the pot that doesn't have the bit on top because the other one is in there. I could switch them out, but there's rice residue on that one, and I didn't want rice residue in my eggs, and I'm too lazy to wash it. And besides, I have silicone pot holders. So, what you do is you put cold water in the pot. I know. Wait for it. And you set your timer for 30 minutes. Now, right now, there is 11:23 to 1 left. And I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, half an hour to wait for breakfast. But it's a set it and forget it. Because you set your timer, it's really, you put your eggs on the boil and then go put deodorant on, brush your hair. Well, it takes me longer than half an hour to brush my hair, but start your morning routine. Now, what I have found on my particular stove is that if I put the coffee water, I know it's in a teapot, and the eggs on at the same time, then my coffee will be done roughly the same time as my eggs. And it's not because that takes forever to heat up. No, it's because I use a French press. And I don't just use a French press. Well, first of all, I drink out of travel mugs even when I'm not going anywhere, because I don't have very good wrists. If you saw my egg peeling video, you know this. Now, I have to go one step further with my coffee, because I know I'm moving around a lot. I'm sorry if you're motion sensitive. Why is that so heavy? Oh, that's actually in there. Yep, told you I don't have very good wrists. And I have to hurry, because you're not supposed to let those boil over. Okay. So if you don't know how to use a French press, this is going to be a 2-in-1 tutorial. Now, I'm autistic, so I line up the lid in a very precise way. Just ignore that. And I line up the cups in a very precise way. By the way, these were from Dollar Tree. If you think you can't adult with style on a budget, that just ain't true. Alright, how am I going to put this thing back together without stopping filming? Well, it looks like I'm going to have to flip the camera around. I don't have my tripod yet, so we're still filming on top of the microwave, and we have some weird halo effect. Well, sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna move this because you can't see what I'm doing. I have found with this particular one that if you can see the threads, it's too far down. And if you can see that, then it's too far up. And if it goes too far up, this part will go spring down in here. Okay, so you've taken it apart for cleaning, which you should, because ew, that's a lot of places things can grow. Then it's this little wagon wheel looking thing. followed by the filter. Now this is why I have to use, while I'm discussing this, let me pour the water into the French press. Now if you're only doing one travel mug, you only really need to go about halfway. Now here is a handy adult trick. Almost said trip because I haven't had coffee. All this hot water, there's always something in your sink that needs a little extra. So, and if it doesn't, pour it over your dish drainer because there's another place grody stuff goes. Particularly in the silverware bin. Silverware, flatware, whatever. Or should I say, wherever. Bad joke, I know. Anyway, so this is why I have to filter my coffee now. It folds over when it's folded over when you buy it. But coffee grounds get stuck in there. So I had to unfold it to get them out. By the way, handy tip. If you do this sort of thing, I don't have babies, but this is good for cleaning out the coffee mug, the travel mug. No coffee, can't think. But the other end, it broke because Dollar Tree, but whatever. This end is very, very good for removing coffee grounds from mesh, whether it's this, whether it's a tea strainer. Well, that wouldn't be coffee grounds, but residue. It's really, really good at getting in the mesh and flicking things out. I cannot stress how important it is to have this bottle brush. Now it comes like this, but as I said, Dollar Tree, mine broke, but keep both pieces. Now this, so that it doesn't get gross, I have in a soap dish along with the top of this. Don't mind the cat, I'm in the kitchen, so he thinks he's getting something. Okay, so the little wagon wheel, then the filter, and then this bit with the spirally deals on it. Then put it on there, and you can, I'm about to show my age, dial it like a rotary phone. Yeah. So hold up your coffee to the light. Yep, that's about where I want it. Very, very important. Do not. It's important, so of course I had a cough. Do not push down quickly, especially if you're making 2 cups and it's full. Slowly. Otherwise it'll spill out the spout. Now, I only have 1 cup, hang on. When you're an adult, when you're an adult, you have to get inventive. So, make sure that they're not lopsided, because if they're lopsided, you're going to lose your coffee when the filter tilts. Now, we're going to learn a bit of science here. There will reach a point when this will no longer drip into the coffee, because the level of the coffee will have reached above the bottom of the end of the funnel. When it does that, fluid dynamics, I think it's fluid dynamics. Well, the point is, the surface tension of the coffee prevents the dripping of more coffee into it. Something about, I'm not a scientist. The point is, you'll be waiting forever for your coffee. So, I have a second cup. Now, this is a tricky, drippy procedure, so I have a paper towel down on my tray. All it does is catch coffee. That is its only job. So I'm not going to make you wait for this. When you need to do this procedure, when it's not going that quickly, put the cup under the spout and set it like that. Yes, it's dripping, not nearly as bad as it would have. And then, when you're ready to transfer, am I getting this? Okay. So don't move this from over the cup until you're over the travel mug. And again, it will still drip, but not nearly as bad as it would have. I should just call this one Morning with Noelle, because I'm covering everything. How much is left? See, now we're doing all of this. There's only 1 minute left on my eggs. I told you, roughly the time that it takes to do your coffee in the morning if you have a French press and you've had it long enough that the filter's messed up and you have to use another filter. Now there's a reason I tell you this. You haven't had your coffee yet. You put the eggs on, you put the water on, you might have turned on the stove burners for both of them. Let's say you put the eggs on at the same time as coffee water, and you're fiddling with your coffee, and you're like, you know, I'm putting cream in my coffee, and my timer hasn't beeped for my eggs. And you look down, and it still says 30 minutes. That's why I told you, because the coffee takes as long as the eggs. If you didn't remember, because you haven't had coffee, to set your timer, that's how you have not ruined eggs. Now, I put the timer away directly because my mother taught me go clean as you go. It's a military thing. She doesn't always follow, but I do. So there is no way to show you what I'm about to do that I can think of. So I shall just attempt to make this as clear as possible. So if you've seen my egg peeling video, which I did one-handed, and again, you can pour this boiling water over any dish that is kind of grody. And I cannot hold this one-handed yet. Woo, but I'm going to have to. Okay, holding the lid with the pot holder. Now, before I used to shake them and then add cold water, but I have found, come on, I have found that if you have forgotten your eggs and you've slightly overboiled them, or no, it's underboiled. If they're a little soft, you have to run them under cold water first. Otherwise, you'll just obliterate this poor egg. So that only works if you've gotten the eggs done well, if you've gotten them off as soon as the timer goes off. If you've forgotten about them, or if you forgot to set the timer and you might be a little early so it's a little softer, rinse them in cold water before you crack them. Otherwise, it's just going to be a massacre. Found that out the hard way. So, important thing is you have to rinse them in cold water before you peel them. You have to put them in cold water before you peel them. Now, I'm on the wrong side. I don't like cold eggs. So I don't let them sit in the cold water. I just let them, chill in there long enough to cool off. Handy tip for those of you that don't know. If you forgot to set your timer and you don't drink coffee, how to know if your eggs are done. Take one out with tongs, set it on the counter if it's clean, spin it again with the tongs, and then do that. Just stop it, but don't hold it stopped. If the egg continues spinning, I haven't had coffee. If I remember correctly, if it continues spinning, put it back in. If it stops, you're good. Yes, if it continues spinning after you let go, that means there's still fluid in there that's flinging around with centrifugal force. See, this is why I learn why things work, so that I can remember even without caffeine. But if you've cooked it all the way through, there's no liquid to fling the centrifugal force. So it just goes, huh, what? We're stopping now? Cool. So I have eggs to peel and coffee to, I'm not gonna put that for the coffee to set up. So I'm gonna let you go because this is already 12 minutes long, just about. But that is my morning routine. It's very how to adult. So I wanted to include that last egg tip in case you don't drink coffee. My sisters don't drink coffee in the morning, but I think they drink like blended frappe whatevers. So if you don't like coffee in the morning, or if you don't like coffee at all, that's how you know when your eggs are done, if you forgot to set your timer. So that was the first or second how to adult, I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna do another one on how to ride the bus.